we are going to be writing exponential functions given a table. So in this function on number 1, if you were to graph it on your x-axis at 0, on the y-axis you have 2, the x-axis at 1, the y-axis you're at 1, on the x-axis you're at 2, 1/2, 3, 1/4. So you can see if you were going to continue, you have an exponential model here. So if we were going to be writing the function, first of all, our a value is going to be our y-intercept. So where does it cross the y-axis? And in this case, it crosses the y-axis at 2. Our b value is going to be our common ratio, or whatever we're multiplying by to get the next value. So in this case, if you're not sure how to figure out the ratio, you're going to take the second term and divide by the first term. So you would get 0.5, or some of you would leave it as 1/2. Either way, it would be fine. And then let's just do the second one. 1/2 divided by 1 is equal to 1/2. And then the third one, if I were to do 1/4 divided by 1/2, that's equal to 1/2. So our common ratio, our b value, is 1/2 to the x power. Another tool you can use is Desmos. And this will remind you of linear regression. When we did this in Module 1, you can use the table, and then you can enter the exponential model. So if we were to enter this table and on Desmos, we get our graph, and then let's enter our exponential model. And let's do plus C. You can see your a value, or your y-intercept, is 2, and your b value is 0.5, which is the same as 1/2. So we can use those two numbers in order to write our function. So I could say y equals 2 times 0.5 to the x power. This or this, they're the same. One of them's just written with a fraction, and one of them has a decimal, but 0.5 and 1/2 are equal to the same thing. Let's look at number 2. We can graph this to see what it looks like. So if I start at 0, I go up to the 1. Over to the 2, I have to go all the way up to 25. Should have changed that because there's no way that's going to fit. Whoops. So if I start at 0, I'm going to make these by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. If I go over to 1, I have to go 0 to the 1, and then up to the 2, I'm going all the way to 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 4, I have to go all the way up to 625. It's not even going to fit on the graph. So it's going to be growing a lot. It's going to go up like that. I'm going to go ahead and plot this on Desmos so you can see a little better. $25, $6.25. Whoops, sorry. We have 15,625. And you could see my Y values go all the way up to 15,625. And on here, my Y values only go up to 8. So I'm going to have to change my Y values so that I can see all of my points. And you can see it makes an exponential pattern, exponential function. And I'm going to use my exponential model. And I see my A value is 1 and my B value is 25. So I'm basically multiplying by 25 to get from one value to the next. So my A value is this 1 right here. That's my y-intercept. Starts right here. And then my B value is my ratio, which is 25. And you could have figured that out by doing 25 over 1. Also, 625 over 25 equals 25. And then 15,625 divided by 625 equals 25. So that helps you get this value here. If you ever don't have access to Desmos, you could figure out that way.